Hey everyone, this is Carla Jenkins, and welcome to an all new episode of Projectize, our project management show. I'm your hostess. I am a certified project management professional, certified Scrum IDOL with 12 years problem solving experience in project management, big data, and IT service management. And then today we're going to start off Project Summer as promised. And I wanted to do something, it's going to be 3 days about baselines because there are three of them, but I wanted to do project management that would really help you. So, since people are measuring projects, measuring their time, uh, that coincides a lot with project management. So, I wanted to do baselines for this week. So, as I mentioned before, we have three baselines: scope, schedule, which is also time, and cost. And the definition of a baseline per the project management body of knowledge is an approved version of a metric. So, today we're going to do the a scope baseline. And then on Thursday, we're going to do schedule. And then Friday, we're going to do cost. But scope is very important. So scope is what's really in the project. So say within my hands is the scope. That's where you have to stay in order for the project to be successful. Anything outside of my hands, outside of the scope, is called scope creep. And scope creep costs time and money. It's a concept called gold plating where you want to go above and beyond something in order to make it look shiny and new, but that's not what the client asked for. If the client specifically ask for something in the contract, just do that so you as a project manager would never have a problem. So, as I mentioned, with scope, the project management body of knowledge definition is the approved version of a scope statement, work breakdown structure, and its associated work breakdown structure dictionary, which is used as the basis for comparison. So, what is a scope statement? It's the statement of what your project is going to focus on. The second one is the work breakdown structure, which is hierarchical. Think of the work breakdown structure as an organizational chart. So, it's a hierarchical structure, which is broken down and decomposed into deliverables as well as work packages and activities. So I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of why work breakdown structures are so important. You can use an organizational chart as a way to communicate. So you would know who reports to who, what the division or department is, and how many people are within that department. Okay, take that and transfer the organizational chart to the work breakdown structure. And as project managers, you use it as a communication tool. And it's very useful because some stakeholders aren't as technically sound. Say you are good in IT project management. You will have stakeholders or people who influence the project that are not very technical. They're non-technical people. And by showing them the work breakdown structure, it communicates how much of the work is getting done. And one of the things you want to do as a project manager with your stakeholders is to make sure that you don't intimidate them. So you communicate in a way that they understand. Because that's what real communication is. It's not whether or not you say something, it's whether or not the person on the other end understands, processes it, and gives you a result. So communication isn't always about you. And also, if you do decide to take the project management professional certification exam, the work breakdown structure is huge. Uh, you will have, it's estimated you would have around 70 questions on the work breakdown structure. It is one of the biggest things in project management, and that's the second part of the scope baseline. The third thing is the work breakdown structure dictionary. You need a dictionary because you need a glossary of terms. And when you speak the same language, it's easier for you to, understand. So when and work breakdown structure dictionaries change from organization to organization or even divisions to division based on the jargon and the language that you speak. be mindful with project management, everything isn't set in stone. It's a guide of best practices to help you get there, but it's not a specific methodology. The project management body of knowledge is a guide, it's not a methodology. So you don't have to do it in lockstep, but these three things serves as guides and are part of the scope baseline. Regarding the dictionary, there's no standard dictionary, no standard set practices of this. So I'm going to do the recap of scope baseline for Project Summer. I wanted to do baseline. I wanted to help you better understand how to measure whether or not you're staying within, right here in your goal, within the scope of your goal, whatever project you're working on. And my name is Carla R. Jenkins. I am a certified project management professional, certified Scrum and IDLE with 12 years problem solving experience. You could sign up for our email list, pmproject at bit.ly/pmprojectmail. Furthermore, if you and your company needs help organizing projects and increasing efficiency and staying within scope, get in touch with me at carlarjenkins.com/contact. So doing a recap of the scope baseline, I'm going to take the project management body of knowledge definition, which is the approved version of a scope statement, work breakdown structure, and its associated work breakdown structure dictionary. So the scope statement is the statement of what is within scope of the project, also what is outside of the scope. And when you list what's outside of the scope, it eliminates scope creep. Like I mentioned before, scope creep costs you time and money, and that's part of gold plating, where you got the shiny shiny object syndrome. If the customer says we want it this way, do it this way, that's within the scope statement. Number two, the work breakdown structure is hierarchical, and you decompose it to the work package and the activity list. As I mentioned before, it's similar to what you've seen before in the organizational chart. Project managers use it as a communication tool. And also, if you do decide to pursue the project management professional certification, a lot of the questions on there will be regarding work breakdown structure. Finally, the work breakdown structure dictionary, as I mentioned, it has a glossary because you have to have a common language. If you don't have a common language, then communication would be bad. So as I also mentioned with the dictionary, there's no standard set of words that you have to use. It's imperative that you use the language you're accustomed to in your division, your department. I'm well, thank you. And that's what you put in the dictionary. So those three things comprise of the scope baseline. And finally, the only way to change any baseline, not just the scope baseline, is go through the change control board. That's the only way to do it. And you have to submit a change request, because once again, if you keep changing the scope based on a stakeholder or what someone likes, then that means it leads to scope creep. So this is this episode of Projectize. My name is Carla R. Jenkins, your hostess, certified project management professional. Once again, you can sign up for our email at pmproject, which is bit.ly/pmprojectmail. And finally, if you need help managing and eliminating and avoiding scope creep and managing the scope baseline, please get in touch with me at carlarjenkins.com/contact. I would like to thank everyone for taking out the time to watch this first episode of Project Summer with the scope baseline, and